Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to this week's market analysis class, Monday the 19th of March. Before we do get started, as always, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Okay, let me bring forward what's coming up on our agenda this week, and we shall have a bit of a talk through with what's happening and what to look out for. If you do have any questions at any stage, please type them in and I will address them as I see them. Okay, this week it's a rather busy week on the data front, and it all starts from the US. We have the main, well, apart from the obvious, we have crude oil and the durable goods, but the main data from the US is the FOMC statement and the federal funds rate decision. Now, for those of you who are not aware of what's happening, well, recently the new Fed chair, Jerome Powell, has basically made it clear that he feels that the economy is growing at a solid pace, and all the indicators are where the Fed Reserve would like them, and pretty much the entire market is expecting an interest rate increase of 25 basis points. So in fact, if that does not happen, it would be an extreme surprise. I think the entire market is expecting that the rates will be increased this week by the US. What is more important in this statement is whether they lean more towards 3 rate increases for this year or whether they lean more towards 4 rate increases this year. Now, it must be noted that almost all of the FOMC voters who have spoken in the last month have been very hawkish in their comments, which basically has been leading investors to factor in about a 90% probability that they will increase rates 100 basis points this year, which would probably put it at 4 rate increases of 25 basis points each. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. That's what's the evidence that we have. One thing's for sure, this week, Thursday morning, as I'm highlighting to you on my screen, it's an almost certainty that they will increase 25 basis points, and it would be an extreme surprise if they don't, and it will have it would have a significantly bad impact on the US dollar if it did not happen. Now, because the market has factored it in so hard already, should they increase the rates, we don't foresee a massive jump in the US dollar because a lot of that has already been factored in. What we're looking for is whether they, as I said again, whether they indicate towards 3 movements this year or 4 movements, and basically the US dollar should take its cue from that information more so than the rate increase in itself. All right, so there you have it. That's the US dollar for this week. Moving along, let's have a look at the British pound. Now, the British pound has CPI numbers and the average earnings index Tuesday, Wednesday, but then on Thursday, it also, apart from the retail sales, it also has a monetary policy statement to release, official bank rate, and the bank rate votes as well. Now, it must be noted that for the sterling, the last time the Bank of England meeting took place, they increased their 2018 GDP forecast, which took the market by surprise and gave the sterling a little bit of a kick along. But the reality was that the data in itself we have had more weakness in the data than strength for the UK economy. So what's going to be interesting here, I don't think anybody is expecting a rate increase for the GBP this week, but always the votes can throw a little bit of surprises. So should we not have a unanimous one directional vote, which is what we are expecting, to unanimously not change the rates, that could throw a little bit of a spanner in the works. So that's pretty much it for the GBP for the sterling. Moving along locally, we have the monetary policy meeting minutes, which are due out tomorrow for the Aussie. It can sometimes bring up a couple of surprises, so look out for that. But I feel that Thursday's employment change numbers will have a far more significant impact on the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar has taken a beating in the last 2 days, and that predominantly came from the US side rather than Aussie weakness in itself. So it was more from US strength, should I say. Okay, so there you have it there, the major highlights to look out for. If there are any CAD traders, just down here, let me highlight it for you. On Friday, we have the retail sales and CPI numbers, but these are the major data impacting events for the week. Now, because of that, I feel that the currency that will be the most susceptible to the data itself will be the GBP USD. So please note that so that you don't get caught in any trades that you do not want to be part of as a result of data itself. As always, the times that I'm showing you are in my local time, which is Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time. Okay, all right, let me bring forward my charts and let's kick off our analysis for the week and let's see what we can see. So let's kick off with the Aussie dollar, and I'll repeat again, if you do have any questions, it can be off topic, just type them in and I will try and address them as I go. Okay, all right, Aussie dollar. Let's have a look. I did have the Aussie dollar as my, not the Aussie dollar, but I had an Aussie pair, Aussie Yen, as my daily call this morning, but the setup has not come. It has not eventuated. Let me just give me one moment to fix my charts for 1 second. Something is bothering my eye. 1 second. Let me just close that off. Okay. All right. So this is better. Okay. Let me zoom out and let's see what I can see. Okay, the blue line that I've got down the bottom still stands, which instantly is going to put this region into an area where I'm very, very interested in. And naturally what I would be looking for in this area would be ideally something that looks like this. Little inside candle, so that I could attempt to trade a bounce of that particular line. So that that seems on the cards actually, because how far away are we to that? So from right now, that's only about maybe 70, 80 pips away. This could be a possibility. What I'm basically saying for anybody new in the class is that I would like the market to come down to this area, produce an inside candle type situation as I'm highlighting here, and then to attempt us to trade it back up as a bounce off that blue line. And if I zoom out, that blue line, you can clearly see that has been respected for some time with 1, 2, and 3 solid touches. So should we come again, then that's the type of trade that I'm attempting on that one. Let me just see if I can see anything else. There's a little channel perhaps forming here, and it might be more obvious on a 4-hour chart. Let me just drop into a 4-hour and just want to see it, what it looks like. There it is. I'm trying to squeeze it in. Just bear with me. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see if I can fit it into both to get the touches that I want on both sides of, oh, nearly. Okay, there we have it. What do we think of this chart here, guys? Any feedback? I'm going to say that's one touch, two touches down the bottom, that's one touch at the top, that's two touches up top. I have dropped into a 4-hour time frame, so please note that. So if I show you what I've done in a daily, there's the daily. Now remember, let me just, on my daily, I'm still respecting the bottom blue line. So everything that I just said still stands to attempt to trade there. But what may happen also in the meantime, if you want to try to get another trade on a 4-hour chart, this channel looks really nice. There's a couple too many lines on my chart. Give me 1 second. Let me just get rid of some things which is annoying me. Okay, there we go. All right. So on a 4-hour chart, this is valid as well, and this is probably closer. So we're very, very close. So let's look for the same thing on a 4-hour channel. So if we get a price action reversal pattern happening right there where I've just drawn the circle, then it's all systems go, and that would make it valid as well. Now, because it's a 4-hour chart, this may be set tonight. Okay, so maybe put a reminder, come back and check in about, I reckon, about 8 hours time. So just before you go to bed, and let's see if we've got the setup that we're looking for. All right, let me move on. Let's have a look at the Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD, I'm still stuck in that area, but am I leaving it? Let me look at a 4-hour chart. Let me get rid of this. It's throwing me off a little bit. Okay, it's I feel that this market is narrowing in on itself. So what I mean by that, if you look at the highs are getting lower, and it feels like the lows, if this starts to bounce here, it could be moving into something like that, but I can't confirm this point yet. Okay, that's not a confirmed point, so I need to wait. But definitely, even if we take that whole section there, we're all in the middle. We're moving towards the bottom there. I'm not willing to trade that. So some people might say, well, why isn't this a double bottom there? That's not the way a double bottom works. For one, the market is coming from lower. Okay, so it's not the way it works. So, and on top of that, it just doesn't look right at all. So I'm not interested in a trade there. So I'm going to have to sit this one out. Now, why have I got this blue line here? Let me just check. Why have I got that blue line? Okay, this blue line is coming from a previous level of interest that was resistance. If this was to come here, if I can draw a line across there and it matched with this blue one here, in other words, I've got one touch there, I've got two touches there, and then I'm also using this line, then this point here becomes what we call a point of confluence, and that would have a high probability of going up in that direction. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Do I need to draw it a little bit prettier? Andrew, I'll address your question in one moment. Let me just finish my train of thought. So what I'm trying to say is, if I'm drawing a line, a support line here for one touch, two touches there where it's shooting off and shooting off, and then should the market come and hit there where they're both joining, that has a high probability of acting in that way. Okay, so just keep that in mind, but otherwise, really, this is something that a chart that is a nothing chart. Okay, the question is, could it be forming a down channel? It kind of looked like it to me, Andrew. I was trying to, when I show it to you, you'll notice that it's yeah, it looks all right actually. So that's one, two touches, and then that's one, and that's two touches up top. So again, either way, it's still the first time you can trade this would be when we touch this line, and if we match them, see how it's looking like it could match where these two lines are intersecting. It's adding more weight to that initial trade idea that I said. So okay, so let's play it that way. So either way, here Euro USD. Let's say if we've started a channel, the first opportunity that we can get is going to be when we come down to this bottom blue line, and if it happens to coincide with the other one, even better. We all clear on that one? Yes? No? Are we asleep out there? What's happening? Thank you, guys. I'll fall asleep otherwise. All right, yes. All right, we've all got the game plan. Let's move on. Let's have a look at the the US yen. Let me zoom out first. Okay, keep trading the trend. Keep trading the trend. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Ah, that's right. Last Monday, I had this circled out, ready to go last Monday. Can someone remind me? In price action to go in this direction, did I have that circled out? Did we trigger? I don't know if we triggered. I felt that we didn't trigger. Okay, so we did have it, but let's see, did we trigger? I think we broke up. So give me a sec. I've got to count the days. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got to count 4 days. Let me. Okay. I'm just going back to check. Give me one moment, guys. I'll drop into a 1 hour chart. So this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. I think I did trigger. So what I'm looking at, this section here, that's Monday's candle. And this is Tuesday's candle, this section here. And I've just dropped the time division to see the low. I can see if I draw myself a candle, the low here would have been that level there, and it looks like I've broken it down. Okay, so that means I would have got stopped out. Did anybody trade it? So I would have got stopped out up there. So let me go back to a daily chart so everybody can see what I'm talking about. Okay, what I was basically saying, the setup was those two there, inside candle to trade the breakdown, and it looks like it just triggered. It triggered short first and then went up and would have stopped you out. So that's unfortunate. Did anybody trade it? So that would have been last Monday. Okay. All right, so right now we got nothing on this one. Okay. To continue trying to trade trend, we would want to break through that level, want it to come back up, then look for your price action, and then continue with the trend in the downward direction. So that looks like is a little bit far away, but that's the only thing that I can see on this one. All right, let's move along. Let's have a look at gold. Okay, gold. Let's get rid of some of these lines. Okay, we'll still keep the bottom line. The bottom blue one, we'll keep it because we got one touch there, two touches there. So if we should come to this level, well, then we're interested in that type of trade. So we'll keep it. In the meantime, this chart's looking rather messy. It's sort of... Okay, this chart here, there's nothing that I like on this one. So I'm not even going to attempt to trade anything on this particular one. So we'll leave this one alone. Gold, nothing this week. A comment, let me just read it. Paul, I will answer your question when I finish my analysis. It's a T-Chaser question. I will answer it. Okay, let me continue on. Pound USD. Okay. Remember last week I said I said we're narrowing in. I believe these lines were probably more on a 4-hour chart. There it is. And we said we're narrowing in and we're trying to trade off the edges. See that there is a body engulfing setup. Okay. And remember I said, like, if you happen to take these trades and you feel there's enough room to the bottom line to at least get your 1-to-1 point, if you hang through this tight and these types of trades and it breaks, the break can be really, really nice. Okay, so in this example there, you could have gone much beyond that, and this is probably like about 4-to-1 type trade that it pays off. Okay, so let's get rid of those lines now because that's already happened, and let's see how we can make today's. This feels to me like it's still narrowing in on itself. It feels like it's not a straight line. This is what it feels like, but it's not quite that pattern. So look, I would prefer this to leave these areas before I look at trading this particular one, and particularly this week. Okay, so GBP USD, let's leave that one as well. Charts aren't being very good to us today. US CAD. The CAD has taken a beating last week, pretty much against everything. So let's see what it can show us here. Okay, that line held. Is there a channel there? Let me just temporarily get rid of the bottom line. And let me draw in a channel. We're there right now. This is a daily chart. I don't mind this channel. We got 1 and 2 touches down the bottom, so it's bottoms are okay. 1, and the thing is, if we were to trade off this level right now, attempt to trade, this would be what I would call an aggressive trade, because it's only confirmed as a second touch once the market already moves away from it. So in theory, the safest, well, not shouldn't say the word safe, but the highest probability of entering the channel with the best setup is on the third touch. Okay, once you've got 2 touches confirmed on each side, then when it moves to the other side on that, which would become a third touch, that's when it will actually be a confirmation. Because if this market was to move away to here, then we can say, yes, that's a touch, and we call that touch number 2 and touch number 1. We've already got the 2 down the bottom, so therefore the first attempt is right there. So let's just keep the lines on there to see if it helps us. If you are an aggressive trader and you get a really nice price reversal setup, you can attempt it. Okay, the price action reversal in a way will try and play out, so it will give you. It's better than just taking a trade off a level, if that makes any sense. All right, so US CAD on my daily, I'm just going to leave that there, and let's see if this level holds. And if it does hold and it produces a price action reversal and you're an aggressive trader, well, then you can attempt it. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, let's have a look at oil, WTI. This market, this one's looks pretty clear. It's getting narrower and narrower. It's definitely clearer now. So let me just. I was looking for a double top. It hasn't come, but I can see there, and I can see here. See, that's on a daily, and if I was to step into a 4-hour, it's even clearer. So if you like breakout trading, because there's not much room on these, or there could be, you never know. That's not a setup, by the way. Up here, that is not a setup. So either on a daily, that's what it's looking for, or a 4-hour, it's a market which is waiting to break out. All right. So if you're a breakout trader, what you would be looking for would be a candle like that, or like this in this direction, and then at the start of the next candle you would shoot. So we want like a very aggressive bull candle or bear candle, depending which direction it goes. So that's the only possibility that I can see on WTI oil, is a breakout trade from this converging triangle. ASX 200, story continues. I might have to change and start looking at something else for next week, because this chart is just hopeless. I just have no interest in this whatsoever. No, there's nothing here. Let's leave that one alone. Finally, Kiwi Dollar. Okay, there's a nice triple. It's a converging zone. It's very, very obvious. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, so there you have it. So we're in a nice channel. We've had definitely 2 touches at the top, or 2 down the bottom. We're at the third one, so this means we're allowed to trade it. I can either drop into a 4-hour, or we can do it off a daily. If we're doing it off a daily, I need, well, today's candle's already gone lower than yesterday's, so I would need today's candle to finish and tomorrow's candle to finish to see if I've got a price action reversal. Or if I go into a 4-hour, I will need to wait for this candle to finish, and then if the next one looks like this, for example, inside of it, well then straight away I could have a trade ready to go in about 4 hours time. Okay, or 4 hours plus however long to go for the current candle to finish, so that's probably about 5 hours away. And that would be a trade based off a 4-hour time frame. And there's the complete picture zoomed out on the 4-hour time frame. Okay guys, if you have any questions, type them in. I'll address the ones that have popped up. And let me go back and summarize. Not a good week on really nice, beautiful charts, but what we have is on a 4-hour, we could get an Aussie US dollar set up very shortly. It's a channel, it's a falling channel. Euro USD, we also have a falling channel, but this one's a bit more, we're a bit further away before we get a trigger. We're working off a daily time frame. US Yen, we unfortunately got triggered in and just stopped out on that particular trade over there. It did play out, but unfortunately we got us in and out. So we need to wait for it to break to a newer low, pull back, and then for an entry to continue in the trend. Gold is messy at the moment, so we'll leave it. Same story with the GBP USD. US CAD, we've found a daily channel on the upside. We'll probably need 2 candles before we get the confirmation, so we need to wait for today. And well, actually, if today's candle ends up being a red candle that looks like this, it could be an engulfing candle, which will leave the little wick up there, and then tomorrow you could just jump on it straight away. So keep an eye out on that. So this could be set tomorrow if it's an engulfing candle. WTI, we've got a converging triangle happening, so we're looking for a breakout. ASX 200, we're leaving alone. Kiwi Dollar could be ready in as little as about 4 hours time. Okay, there you have it. Let me have a look at some of these questions that have popped up on my screen. Aussie New Zealand short. Let me have a look. Let me first of all find the chart that I'm looking for. Aussie New Zealand. There it is. Hang on, let me just get a brand new chart up because I don't want to lose these lines. Aussie New Zealand. Here we go, chart window. And the question is it a T chaser? So let me go to my templates. There's my T chaser template. Okay, let's have a look at it. First of all, the answer is yes. The trigger was this candle that I'm highlighting was the candle that triggered, which means the entry was right there. So that was the entry point on that candle that I'm just drawn. That's when the entry point, and I'll go through it. If I drop a vertical line through the gray candle there like I've done now, you'll notice that first of all the 3 moving averages are in order, which is condition number 1. That candle in gray has closed underneath the 72 EMA, so that's a second condition, and the CCI is below the 150, so that's the third condition. If I analyze the candle before it, so I'll move it to one candle there, this candle, the 3 moving averages are in order, the candle is closed below this one as well, but the CCI is it's ever so close. It's just nearly there, but it's not quite there. So the actual candle is the one that I've grayed out, and the entry is over here. Okay, so that's where you should have entered the trade if you were trading this one. Now, one thing that I will say about this particular setup, it's a Aussie New Zealand. Let me zoom out, something that I saw straight away. If you look at this chart, it's very, very clear to see that it feels like there's a resistance level for out there where I'm just drawing that line, okay? So when you trade T-Chaser, all right, if you get in on the trade, let's say in there, it feels like the market is a little bit zigzaggy, okay? So if you do get setups inside of that zone and then the trade breaks through it, it can be a very, very rewarding trade, okay? But also when you're taking the trades from the inside of the congestion, you are more vulnerable to getting like stop starts setups. All right, so ideally it's when the trend starts, that's when we can get the best rewards from this particular type of strategy. But there you have it. Hopefully I've answered your question there, Paul. Any other questions? Okay, someone's asking me about today's daily call, which was the Aussie Yen. Let me just bring up my Aussie Yen chart. There's my Aussie Yen. The question is, why is it invalid? Okay, so this is the chart. Don't worry about, let me just change the template so that it looks correct. Okay, there it is. There's the template. If you look at this chart, it was on a 4-hour time frame. So let me zoom out a little bit. The first thing that I want to highlight here is notice that the market comes from right up there, hits a point, comes back. Now, if this level here was to actually hold, that's a proper double bottom, okay? Because the markets come from the upside, hitting and hitting, okay? Now, to answer the question, if I just draw a line right now across this section here, and let me zoom in again so we can see it better, you can see that it has failed already. All right, so this candle is completely underneath it, so this can now no longer be a double bottom. So the question being asked by Jackie is, she's in the trade already, should I hang on to the trade? Well, the reality is you should not be in the trade at all, because what we were waiting for is, say, that candle there as an example, and then we would have had to follow it up with an inside candle, and then at the break of that candle, that's the trade. So we were not trading off the level, we were requiring a price action reversal, which has not happened. So therefore, and that's the beauty of price action, it has protected us from entering this trade. And so we basically just we're not in this trade at all. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody? You have me for this time. I'm more than happy to address them for you. No? Nothing? Okay, I'll just highlight one more for you. There's Kiwi US Dollar. We covered that one. Dave, let me just have a quick look. Kiwi. We're coming up to that triple bottom. Okay, on this one, there's a triple bottom there. So if you drop into a 4-hour, you'll see it. So I've already covered that one. So you'll see that one. The one that I wanted to show you all was the Euro AUD. This morning it looked like it was going to have a setup. I just want to see how it's looking on a 4-hour time frame. Okay, what I was going to show you was like something there, another double top type situation, but it looks like it's gone too far. So no, it hasn't set up either. All right, it's unfortunate. All right, so there you have it, guys. We're pretty much at the end. Give me one moment. Let me see if I can show you the data release for the week again, just to summarize, make sure everybody has got it. Okay, there we have it. It should pop up on your screen shortly. There it is. All right, the key to remember, FOMC, guys, over here, interest rate decision. It's almost 100% expected that it will go up. What we're looking for is whether they say anything, if they'll do it 3 times or 4 times this year. And remember, about 90% factored in for investors that they will raise 100 basis points this year. 100 basis points, if you don't know, that's 1 full percent. Okay. The other one is GBP, monetary policy statement as well, and official bank rate. But remember, they are not expected to raise interest rates. What we're particularly looking for is the vote count to see if it's unanimous in either direction. All right, that pretty much wraps up for today. If there's no more questions, we'll call it a day. As always, please feel free to contact us. Send me emails if you do have any questions. Watch the daily call and take care when you're trading. And just look out for these announcements as well. Bye for now. I'll speak to you next week. Cheers.